So good morning and good afternoon and good night wherever you may be in the continuation of this practice of a mind training procedure which we call A Course in Miracles, which is going to bring about a change in the manner in which you view yourself in this world. This is a continuation of two previous videos that we did in our determination that through your alacrity of a disciplined idea of an alternative, you have been practicing within the framework of the limitations that are imposed on you by this apparent objective identity that you have given yourself, a continuing immediate quantum alternative that is available to you within this space-time reference. The idea that at that precise moment you had an experience of a totality of instantaneous reality that transcended the previous objective ideas that you had about yourself is precisely and exactly what this mind training is designed to bring about. And we're going to use it as we did in the previous video. We talked about the idea of time travel, or the possibility that if you didn't associate with your own past thoughts about yourself and subsequently project them into the future so you could find a collaboration in your thought forms to the justification of your location in space-time, that you would instantly realize that you are everywhere all the time. There was considerable attraction to the idea that we could teach the instantaneous idea that you could travel to the stars. And we talked about the black hole and the idea that by converting the energy of the mass through an increase in velocity, we could actually escape what we would call an event horizon, okay, that had held us in the bondage of the idea of a single location. I think that was fairly simple. I'm going to take another step with you now. If you can take this step with me, where everybody has the idea that quantum physics is somehow complicated. There's nothing complicated about the so-called theory of quantum reality. The complication of quantum reality is the impossibility of observing it objectively. What I'm going to talk to you about just for a minute, with your permission, are the solutions that two famous physicists offered to the dilemma of the apparent unreality of objective associations in space-time. One of them will be Niels Bohr's Copenhagen resolution. The other will be the Heisenberg improbability theory, or the idea that, that everything is finally uncertain. So we're going to deal with two ideas. One, the inevitability of the uncertainty of what we perceive, and the other, through the Copenhagen resolution, that we actually influence what we see out in the world by our observation of it. Just before we do that, very quickly, we're going to review just the first 7 lessons of this mind training procedure as a reminder to you to how far you have come if you have indeed been practicing these lessons. Watch this. We'll be back in just a minute. I see only the past. This idea is particularly difficult to believe at first, yet it is the rationale for all of the first 6 lessons that we practice, and is the beginning point to a step out of time. It is the reason why nothing that you see means anything. It's the reason why you have given everything you see all the meaning that it has. It is the reason why you do not understand anything you see. It's the reason why your thoughts do not mean anything, and why they are like the things that you see, as meaningless as are you. It's the reason why you're never upset for the reason that you think. That it's the reason why you're upset because you see something that is not there. All because you see only the past. Old ideas about time are very difficult to change because everything you believe is rooted in time and depends on your not learning these new ideas about it. Yet that is precisely why you need new ideas about time. This first-time idea is not really so strange at all if you look at it. Look at this cup. Do you see a cup? Or are you merely reviewing your past experience of picking up a cup, being thirsty, drinking from a cup, feeling the rim of a cup against your lips, having breakfast, and so on? Are not your aesthetic reactions to the cup, too, based on past experiences? How else would you know whether or not this kind of cup will break if you drop it? What do you know about this cup except what you learned in the past? You would have no idea what this cup is except for your past learning. Do you then really see it at all? Look about you. This is equally true of whatever you look at. Everything that you see is always over and gone. Each moment in all of time, you exist in the entirety of this space, here and now. Now let's catch up to some very late time. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see nothing as it is now. My thoughts do not mean anything. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. I'm upset because I see a meaningless world. A meaningless world engenders fear. God did not create a meaningless world, and my thoughts are images that I have made. So here we are once again confirming the idea that everything that you see in your reference at this moment with me is actually over and gone. What a dilemma. Let's look at it for just a minute from the idea first of the, what you call Heisenberg uncertainty principle. The quantum theory of uncertainty has been proven within the relationships of the observation of subatomic particles. What it says is this: the more specifically you identify the idea of momentum, location in momentum, look at it as velocity times mass, okay? The more certain you are of where that is going to be within the particular association, the less likely it is to be there. Did you hear that? Quantum physicist associations. The more certain you are in the practice of the experimental observation of a relationship of mass and velocity, which is actually momentum, when you find the precise and exact spot where it is, it's not there. This is the fundamental teaching of the mind training that we are offering you. The idea of any specific reference in correspondence of what you observe as velocity or a location within light form cannot be true, because any specific location would have to be an indication of the specificness of your relationship with yourself. And since you are always over and gone, how could you possibly locate yourself specifically? Carrying that out to the uncertainty principle, it would appear that the more you expanded comparison relationship ideas in regard to the location that you seek, the more liable or possible you are to be able to find it. This is contrary to the mind training. Could you hear that? What we're actually trying to do is reverse the procedure. It seems to you that if you could possibly observe it at the instant of the occurrence, it would need no comparison. Since there's obviously a distance between your ideas about yourself and the objective association that you have established, you apparently need a multitude of possibilities to arrive at a single conclusion. Could you hear that?